I would like to introduce to you all Dino Pruccoli. He is the assistant, hold on, where's your title? There it is, Assistant VP and Director of International Admissions at the University of Buffalo. He's going to be presenting for us today. And before I pass the floor over to Dino, I did just want to let you all know that you can ask questions. You can submit questions throughout the webinar. There is a Q&A box at the bottom of your screen, and you can submit questions that way. Please do it that way rather than in the chat feature. I will do my best to answer questions as we go along, but for any that I don't know the answer to, we'll make sure to get to them at the end of the presentation. So definitely use the Q&A feature. I just want to say I get to be the account manager for Buffalo, and I work very closely with Dino and his team. It's been a real pleasure to get to work closely with them. He's helped things move really, he's taken things in a great direction for Shorelight, and we're really grateful for all that Dino has done. And so without further ado, I'll go ahead and pass it over to Dino.
Thank you, Shannon. Hello, everyone. I'm Dino Pruccoli, and I am new to UB. I'm just 6 months in and also very new to this PowerPoint. So I'm going to do my best today to give you a bit more information about the University of Buffalo and help you recruit students on our behalf. So let's get right into it. Why UB? That's a great question. I would say UB is the first SUNY school that was invited to the AAU, which is the Association of American Universities. It's a prestigious group of 70 plus universities across the world. And this is extended based off of the institution's research and excellence in education. So SUNY is one of the members of AAU, and that means that our education is a quality and of high performance. Also rankings. I think rankings are important to some families and students. We are ranked number 36 public university in the United States and number 23 for hosting international students by IIE. So we have a long history of hosting international students, meeting and exceeding their needs and providing excellent support to our international student community. UB is leading the responsible AI. Empire AI is a $400 million investment that brings New York State public and private universities together to advance artificial intelligence. And UB is leading their charge. And we're actually breaking ground on a new building. So University of Buffalo will be the home for all things in this Empire AI consortium. If you're thinking about starting a business, we have a CoLab, which is powered by Blackstone and Launchpad. So there are 2 incubators in Buffalo alone. So our management or business students can get experience with entrepreneurship and starting their own companies right here in Buffalo. And last year, UB offered over $400 million in financial aid and scholarship. UB freshmen typically range from 10 to 15,000 per year over 8 semesters, and transfer scholarships range from 3 to 6,000 per year over 4 semesters. One of our biggest parts of UB is our community. Search engine founders, Hollywood actors, Pulitzer Prize winning journalists, the inventor of handwriting recognition software, Fortnite influencers, and even a NASA astronaut got their start at UB. So here you make a meaningful connection that will stay with you for life. Once you graduate, you'll be part of the UB Vast alumni community, and alumni provide great connections and networking events for students. Why Buffalo, New York? I love it here. I moved here just 6 months ago and have seen spring and summer so far. So we have 4 beautiful, distinct seasons. From blooming springs to gorgeous summers, cozy falls, and crystalline winters. Buffalo's climate boasts 4 picturesque seasons. You can enjoy sailing and fishing in our waterways, hiking in lush forests, sledding and skiing in our hills and mountains. Because of Western New York, you can enjoy year-round outdoor activities. The city of Buffalo, also known as the City of Good Neighbors, is a thriving city that borders Canada and a region of more than 2 million people from various countries and backgrounds. Western New York is home to prominent companies like Tesla, General Motors, New Era, Yahoo, all who seek out our graduates. So here you'll see some of the photos, and then there's Lake Erie. On the other side of that lake is Canada. Buffalo's close to everything. You can fly to New York, Philadelphia, or Washington, D.C. in less than 90 minutes. You can drive to Toronto in under 2 hours. And the famous Niagara Falls is just 20 minutes drive from campus. Here you can always find something to do, whether it's taking a walk in a park, visiting art galleries, or even ice skating. Buffalo is a great place to live, and it's affordable. It's 4% below the US average cost of living and 20% less expensive than New York City. So you can save money and enjoy everything Western New York has to offer. Buffalo has a strong economy with many industries, including manufacturing, healthcare, education, and technology. And Buffalo offers a wide range of public transport options for free or discounted passes to students, from buses to our metro system. So you can get anywhere within the Buffalo area in about 30 minutes or less. There's no traffic. It's pretty exciting. So UB is consistently recognized as the world's most exceptional and affordable universities, making it a top choice for students and faculty around the globe. Because the low cost of living in Buffalo and UB's affordable tuition, your money goes farther here. According to College Factual, the return on investment at UB education is approximately 1.2 million over 30 years. So that's quite an investment and return on investment. And our graduates gain employment. 93% of our students have a job within 6 months of graduation. And these are some of the companies that have employed our undergraduates last year. So UB has a diverse and welcoming international community with dedicated services and support for international students. We have a long history, again, of hosting them. The city of Buffalo is a border city with Canada, and it makes it very easy for our students to visit their Canadian family members, or for their Canadian family members to come visit UB or Buffalo to see them. So that's another distinct benefit of being right on the border. As far as academics, UB offers over 140 programs, 70 combined degree programs, and a 12-to-1 student-faculty ratio. UB has other partnerships with study abroad opportunities in over 700 locations across 7 continents. So while your student might come to Buffalo to study, that doesn't mean they can't study abroad in a third country while they're here. Each of our programs and majors falls within the 13 colleges and schools. The schools and colleges with the most international students would be our engineering programs and management, and growing in liberal arts and sciences as well. As a research institution, we know it's important to find a place that feels like the best match for your interests and goals. Here's a glimpse of what the UB student body looks like, and your students will be in good company here. UB has 3 distinct campuses: our North Campus, South Campus, and Downtown Medical Campus, and I'll show you those in a second here. So the North Campus, where international admission is located and international student services, is our largest campus, and it's located just outside of Buffalo in a city called Amherst, New York. And it opened in 1970, and it's the largest of the 3 campuses. So much renovation is happening here. We just had a groundbreaking for another new engineering building 2 weeks ago, but this is the main campus for our students. UB South Campus was built in 1920s. It's 153 acres, and it's home to the School of Architecture and Planning, dental medicine, nursing, pharmacy, and public health. So if your students are studying those majors, they would be on this campus. Both the North Campus and the South Campus have on-campus housing, and we have a UB bus system that goes in between all three campuses all day and into the late evenings. And then our last campus is our downtown campus, and this is for Jacobs School of Medicine and Biomedical Sciences. It's the newest building and I believe the most beautiful, but this is really only for medical students and training. Admission requirements, probably the most important thing, will your students be admissible? So we would need the Shorelight application. We're looking for secondary school grades of a B or better on the US scale. The SAT is not required, but is strongly recommended for scholarship consideration. Students will be considered for scholarship, regardless if they have the SAT or not. But if they have a very high SAT score, that SAT score will trump the GPA scholarship. So I can talk a bit more about that later. Teacher recommendations and personal essays are optional for Shorelight applicants. So basically, we just need the application, the transcripts, and then English proficiency. English proficiency can be met by any one of these following exams. The most popular one from last year for our students was the Duolingo English test. As you know, it's $49. They can take it anytime, anywhere, and then the scores are available in 2 days. We're also seeing a lot of PTE from Shorelight. So we're happy to accept any of these ways for students to meet the English proficiency requirement. The cost of attendance is $33,800 for tuition and fees. Students have to show $22,300 for living expenses. This is a 12-month living expense estimate. So many universities will show 9 months. We require 12 months because we want our students to have a realistic sense of how much they'll be spending, even if they're not living on campus during those 3 summer months. We changed this last year. I believe it's a good change, and it will help families more understand the realistic costs. So the total cost of attendance that a student can expect to show in order to receive the I-20 is $56,100. Now that is the total cost. We do provide scholarships, like I said, and those scholarships would come off of the top of the tuition. So we have merit-based scholarships, performance and art scholarships, and athletic scholarships, as we're a NCAA Division I institution. What's the campus really like, right? They can go anywhere. Why UB? Well, at UB, we have over 400 clubs and organizations. These clubs possess a wealth of information about academic programs, campus resources, as well as social opportunities and life in Buffalo. One of our popular facilities is an esports arena, which features 52 Alienware gaming PCs with computer monitors and 4-screen jumbotrons. 6 gaming PCs are reserved for UB varsity esports team that competes in both national and regional competitions. So this is a photo here is the esports gaming area. And all students can check out a space in order to play games here. While it does get cold in the winter, UB has many tunnels and heated indoor walkways on campus, so you can get to many of your classes without going outside. Winter is also a great time to enjoy cold weather activities like skiing, snowboarding, and ice skating. So I just was in India in August. I'll be going to Bangladesh, Pakistan, and Nepal. Many of these people have never seen snow, and they don't know how cold it is or how to dress. UB will help our students. We take them on a shopping trip to buy warm winter clothes. But like I said, all the buildings in the academic spine are interconnected by tunnels and walkways. So while it is cold outside, it's warm and toasty and climate controlled throughout the campus. This is a picture of one of our tradition called Ooze Fest. It's a mud volleyball tournament on North Campus where students and alumni play together and participate. I believe it's one of the largest in the world for those who are interested in playing volleyball in the mud. You can see here we have theater. Our students perform in theater. Also, international fiesta. It's like an international fair. We also do services around well-being and academic success to enhance the UB student-centered services. UB has over 35 dining locations, 2 food trucks, and award-winning chefs to satisfy every diet, including vegans, vegetarians, halal, kosher, and gluten-free options. So if your student has a food intolerant or a special diet, they just need to communicate with us and they will have food made for them to meet their needs. So UB residence halls and apartments offer distinct living communities close to campus and class. We'll be able to make the most of your time here. No matter where you live, you'll enjoy comfortable, safe, and engaging experiences. Our secure living options include doubles and triples and quad rooms, shared and semi-private bathrooms, and communal areas for socializing and studying. We offer free laundry, internet, and academic success centers within the residence halls. And many of them have athletic facilities or fitness centers located within them. And I would say if your students are interested in living on campus, they need to deposit by May 1st in order to have a guaranteed room. So I will go into that in a bit. UB offers a comprehensive career support to prepare students for success. The Career Design Center provides resources like job fairs, employment assistance, and internship opportunities with multinational companies such as American Airlines, Meta, Johnson & Johnson, and others. Students receive help with resumes, job interviews. They do mock interviews. We have an annual STEM job fair, as well as regular career fairs. And we connect over 2,000 students to more than 120 employers last year for internships alone. So they'll have all different types of internship fairs and job fairs for students. This whole experience is to prepare students for their future. So we understand that and help international students secure internships and jobs. While no institution can say they will do it, we at UB do a very good job of connecting our students to employers. And employers find our students very attractive because of the diversity, the excellent academic preparation, as well as, they just know UB over years of hiring UB students and alumni. So how to apply as a first-year student? Again, you can apply via, this slide is made for the public, but for Shorelight students, you would use the Shorelight application only. Again, only use the Shorelight application, but submit the transcripts and any test scores. We also do accept transfer students through Shorelight. So again, use the Shorelight application. So some important deadlines. We have an early action deadline of November 1st. So if students submit their application and it's complete by November 1st, they'll have a decision as quickly as possible. Our regular application deadline is February 1st. And then we go rolling after February 1st, meaning we'll review students and make admission decisions until the class is closed. Last year, that happened around late July. So I would encourage your students to apply early. That's always the best. The tuition deposit is May 1st for fall. So last year it was moved around a bit because of some FAFSA issues with the US government, but this year we're planning to go back to the national candidates deadline of May 1st. And then the housing deposit is also May 1st. So by submitting your deposit, you can guarantee your seat, you can request your I-20, and then should you want to live on campus, you will also be guaranteed on-campus housing if you apply by May 1st. After May 1st, housing does fill up and students will be put on a wait list. So I think it's important if your students wants to live on campus, which I highly would recommend for the first year, to submit by May 1st. So ready to learn more? You can learn more information on our website. So here are some URLs you can take a picture of. The first one is to inquire, so students can get more information emailed to them directly. The other one is for apply now, but they'll be using you as your Shorelight representative to help them apply using the Shorelight application. And then you can connect with us. Our website is listed there. Our email address is listed there. And if they want to chat with current students, that is probably the best link for you and your students. They can ask students questions. We call them globals. We take the global ambassadors and our mascot, the bulls, and put those two together as globals. So there's about 13 or 14 students from all across the world who are representing UB, and students can ask them student questions like, what is it like to live on campus, transportation, safety, health and wellness, food, all the questions that are really more geared towards students. They can do that. And starting this year, we're on Unibuddy platform, so students can download Unibuddy app on their phone and chat with our students directly about their student experience. So I believe that peer-to-peer recruitment is really key and helpful in decision making, especially when it's time to decide where they want to enroll. I know that went quick, but I want to thank you all, and I will open it up for questions.
All right, thank you so much. There were a few questions that I answered already, but one of them, Dino, let me see. I will just make sure. So one question was whether an MOI method of instruction is accepted for the application for English waivers. Okay, you're shaking your head. I shared the link to your guys' page where it shows all the tests accepted, but it didn't specifically say that. So if you want to.
Yeah, so we have on that same link that you shared, there are some countries that we waive English requirements for. So if the student meets those conditions, we'll waive it. But if for example, they're in India and they're taking CBSE, yes, we know that it's in English, but we don't waive the English based off of that alone. So that link you provided is the best resource for them to learn about the English requirement and waivers.
Wonderful.
Now, with that said, we waive based off of curriculum. So for example, if they did IB or British, like Cambridge levels English. So look there to see if the curriculum will meet the waiver requirement.
Great. Let's see. Another question. And again, everyone, just a reminder, this is only focused on undergraduate. What is the minimum GPA required for undergraduate?
So students with a 3.0 and above will be admitted. Our engineering and computer sciences are pretty strict about that. I would say because we do a holistic review, 2.8 and above outside of engineering should be fine, depending on the program. And then those under 2.8 to 2.5 are given special review. And we have to make exceptions on a case-by-case basis. So for you guys, I would say, speaking to any engineering or majors in our College of Engineering and Applied Sciences, they should be 3.0 and above. All other majors, 2.8 and above. And then on a case-by-case basis, 2.5 to 2.8. But really, it should be, again, that screen set a B or better. I think if your student has a B or better, they'll have no problem with admission. Now, we understand life happens and grades come up and down, and we're still coming out of COVID grades sometimes. But to be frank, it's considered competitive. We're not highly competitive. But I think a B or better will be your best bet. And, I think Shorelight, you can expect a quick response time. So even if the student doesn't, make it, they can reapply for a future term or share their mid-year grades if needed to show that they are improving. So there are ways.
Awesome. Okay, this one I'm not for sure the question. Let's see. State board, which has primary language as English. Can we waive
Yeah.
in that case? Okay, no, that's
Yeah. So again, look at that link to see which countries are waived. And then I would just strongly encourage your students to take either the Duolingo or the Pearson Test of English. They're very low cost and the results are available in 2 days. I think Duolingo is less than an hour. It's like 50 something minutes and they can take it anytime, anywhere. And it's valid at over 1,000 institutions worldwide. So it's in the best interest of the student to have these tests in their back pocket and then use them as needed.
okay, great. Next question. Do students have to stay on campus during their first year, or are they free to live by themselves from the beginning?
Yeah, students are not required to live on campus, so they can live anywhere they'd like. There's plenty of apartments around the Buffalo and Amherst area. I highly recommend students live on campus. I've been in international higher education for 24 years, and I think students who had the best success and the best connection to campus live on campus their first year. That's where they meet friends. That's where they meet their future roommates. They meet Americans. It's really just a great way to get integrated to a new country and a new community. They have the rest of their lives to live by themselves or with friends that they love. But I think the first year, it's really beneficial for students to live on campus. I understand, costs or family in the area. I get that, but when possible, I would highly, highly recommend living on campus.
Yes, agreed, 100%. Okay, what is the deposit required for an I-20?
So students after admission would need to spend a $150 tuition deposit for on-campus housing. I'm sorry, $150 deposit for the tuition deposit will make the student eligible to get their I-20.
Perfect. So
let me make that clear because I was mumbling quite a bit. The $150 deposit is $150 USD, and that is for the tuition, which reserves their seat and then opens up the I-20 portal for them to request their I-20.
Okay, perfect. So 150 to request to be able to even request their I-20. If the students choose to live on campus, then there's an additional housing deposit that they must pay. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. Do you know off the top of your head, what is the IB minimum score for admission?
So we look at all IB grades. The minimum IB diploma should be 26 or higher, but in reality, students are submitting much higher scores.
Okay.
So many students will be in progress. So if your student, meaning they're currently in their last year, we're going to look at grades 9, 10, and 11 to make the admission decision. If they've completed their degree for IB and they have their diploma, then that's when we look at just the IB diploma 26 or higher.
Okay, great. Is there a minimum age required? Does a student have to be a certain age to be able to study at UB?
Yeah, they should be 17 by the time they enter.
Okay, 17, all right. That was all the questions there. Oh, okay, keep them coming. We've got time. All right, is WES evaluation credentials required? The answer I know to that one is no.
Yeah, again,
yeah.
the partnership with UB through Shorelight is undergraduate only, and we do all of our own internal evaluations for both freshmen and transfer students. So that evaluation is not required.
And while we see if there's any other questions, I do have one that came through in my email yesterday for students, undergraduate students who are awarded a scholarship. Is the scholarship included on their I-20?
Yeah, so starting this fall, the admission letter will have the scholarship information included, meaning when the student receives their admission offer, their scholarship offer will be in that same letter. So
Mhm.
previously there were two different letters sent at two different times. But now I fixed it, so it's
Yes.
all in one letter. So the
Yay.
students know right up front that they're admitted and how much scholarship they're given.
Mhm.
When we do issue the I-20, we will enter the scholarship amount in the I-20 field about like institutional support or scholarship. So
Okay.
it will be listed there as well.
Okay, perfect. Yes, for those of you on the call, I know you will be excited about having the admit letter and the scholarship all included for fall. So that's thanks to Dino and all his hard work for getting that to happen. Um, let's see. All right, a question. What is the scholarship process for spring 25?
Mhm.
Do you want to take this one or do you want me to?
Sure, I can do it.
Okay.
So we have been admitting spring students on a rolling basis. Last week, we released over, I think, 300 scholarship offers total. So we'll be releasing more scholarship offers in the coming weeks. So as students get admitted, they'll be receiving an additional scholarship letter within typically 2 weeks of their admission. But all the students who were kind of in a backlog already have their awards and can find their awards in their student portal. So probably early to mid next week, we'll be running that scholarship decision again because we've been admitting students like crazy over the past couple days. So just if the student recently applied within the last, I would say, week or so, give us a couple, a week to get their admission and scholarship decisions out. But if they applied more than 2 weeks ago, they would have received their admission decision and their scholarship decisions. And both can be found in their UB portal. And while we're on that topic for spring, so let me just clear this up. So if they're awarded a $40,000 a year scholarship, it's going to be divided over 8 semesters. So the $40,000 would be a $10,000 per year for 4 years, and that would be divided up over 8 semesters. So $5,000 per semester.
Great. And while we were kind of talking about the portal, I just wanted to also touch on gap explanations and when those are required for students. So when you apply through Shorelight, our admissions team is collecting all of the documents and when necessary should be collecting a gap explanation. I think there has been some cases where we've missed that. And so when the app goes over to Buffalo, it's actually still incomplete. If that's the case, the student will see it in their UB portal, exactly what's missing, what they need to provide. But I know I've shared it in some of the weekly updates I've sent, but I'd like Dino to just explain what the policy is on when a gap explanation is required.
Sure. So if a student graduates and has not started any education within 1 year of graduation, so 12 months, we do not need a gap statement. In that 13th month, so a year after they graduate and 1 day, and they don't have anything on their application for their next kind of history of education, that's when that gap statement is needed. So we need to know what the student's been doing. It could be, I've been working, I've been studying for the TOEFL or IELTS or SAT. That's fine. We just need to know after 1 year, after they graduate, only after 1 year, what they've been doing. So if it's been less than 1 year, no gap statement needed, the file will be reviewed and the decision will be made. But if it's over 1 year after graduation, please submit that at the time of application to expedite the admission process and review. If not, it will come to us. Then Shannon will hear from me. Then she reaches out to you. Then you reach out to the student. Then it comes back. So to expedite things and to make it as quick as possible, please collect that at the time of application.
Yes.
If you know your student has graduated and has been outside of education for over a year.
Yes. Awesome. And did you also want to talk about the Shorelight supplemental form or how that one's required?
Yeah, so there's a Shorelight supplemental form that asks some easy questions in order to help us with some bits of data that are not collected on the application, the Shorelight application, unfortunately. So if you could submit that at the time of application, that would be best. But I've already fixed it for
Yes.
fall 25. So if the student doesn't submit it, they will have to answer those questions before they can open and receive their admission letter and scholarship decision. So they're just random questions that aren't on the Shorelight application. I think, like, I can't even think off the top of my head, maybe city of birth or some random data point that Shorelight doesn't collect, but we require in our system.
Yeah. Awesome.
So
This was
students can do it at the time of application with Shorelight, or they'll have to do it right before they see their admission letter. And they're not any questions that are complicated. They would need family or friends or agents' help. The student should be able to answer those questions pretty easily. Wouldn't you say, Shannon?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. I just wanted to bring it up. Thankfully, Dino has fixed it, and so now the student, they will be required to do that before they will, like you said, before they can see their admission decision. But just wanted to let you all know that that is something that needs to be done. So if the student doesn't do it, they're not going to be able to see their decision released. So yeah, so that's just a heads up there. Don't see any other questions. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that often comes up that that we could discuss.
Yeah,
There's been a
I think
few.
the overall takeaway is UB offers almost every major.
Mhm.
So we have the programs, we have affordable tuition, we have a quick turnaround time, we have a great reputation, and we have expertise in supporting international students. So you should feel comfortable sending applications to UB. We're also on the road. Right now, I have staff in Vietnam, in the Middle East. We just returned from Africa. Again, I'll be leaving for South Asia. So there's plenty of opportunities for your students to meet us in person when we're in their country. I would say engage. Push that Unibuddy platform. I know many universities use Unibuddy, but really this is a great way for you to say to your students, you know, now you're admitted, learn more. Like this is your life. You take the reins now, and they can log on to Unibuddy and ask students all types of questions coming from a student and their perspective and their experience at that institution or that city or that town. So I think Unibuddy is a great platform, and I would encourage you to have your students use it.
Awesome. Well, I think that's everything. Dino, thank you so much for your time. This was really informative. Lots of awesome information. For those of you on this call, I think you've seen reason after reason why UB is a great choice for students. Just so much to offer. And so please do submit those applications. The deadline that we have for Shorelight, I believe it's November 15th. Does that sound right, Dino?
Or early action.
Yes, yeah, the application deadline.
But the regular deadline is February 1st, and then it's rolling after that.
Yeah. Yes, for fall. And then for spring, though, the deadline, I think that
sounds right.
Yeah, November 15th. So there's still time, but as we all know, visas have been harder and harder to come by. So please get those apps submitted as soon as possible. Definitely for spring. I know there's more time for fall. And then make sure that all of the documents are submitted as well so that we can review it and get it over to UB for them to review and make the admission decision. I think that's everything. Anything else you want to add, Dino?
No, thank you very much. And I look forward to working with your students.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you have a great rest of the day or evening. And we look forward to seeing you all soon and seeing those apps come in. Thank you so much.